Aubrey never expected to fall in love at a funeral. As she stood solemnly by her grandmother's casket, dabbing at her eyes with a crumpled tissue, she noticed a tall, handsome stranger across the room. Their eyes met briefly, and Aubrey felt an unexpected jolt of electricity. She quickly looked away, feeling guilty for having such thoughts at her beloved grandmother's wake. Later, as mourners mingled over coffee and stale cookies, Aubrey learned the stranger's name was Joseph. He was her grandmother's next-door neighbor, having moved in just a few months ago. Aubrey had been meaning to visit her grandmother more often, but life and work always seemed to get in the way. Now it was too late, and she was filled with regret. "Your grandmother spoke of you often," Joseph said softly, approaching Aubrey. "She was so proud of you." Aubrey managed a sad smile. "Thank you. I wish I had visited her more. I just never seemed to find the time." Joseph nodded sympathetically. She understood. She knew you had a busy life in the city, but she treasured every moment she got to spend with you. They chatted for a while longer, Aubrey finding comfort in Joseph's kind words and gentle demeanor. As the wake came to an end, they exchanged phone numbers, promising to keep in touch about matters related to her grandmother's estate. In the weeks that followed, Aubrey found herself texting Joseph more and more frequently. At first, it was just about practical matters, when the lawyer would be reading the will, what to do with her grandmother's belongings, how to handle the sale of the house. But soon, their conversations drifted to more personal topics. Aubrey learned that Joseph was a high school English teacher who had moved to the quiet suburban neighborhood seeking a slower pace of life. He was passionate about literature and often sent Aubrey quotes from his favorite poems and novels. She found his intellect refreshing and stimulating. For his part, Joseph was intrigued by Aubrey's career as a corporate lawyer in the city. Her drive and ambition impressed him, even as he gently encouraged her to find more balance in her life. "Your grandmother always said you worked too hard," he reminded her. "Maybe it's time to slow down a little and smell the roses." Aubrey knew he was right. Her grandmother's passing had been a wake-up call, reminding her that life was short and precious. She began leaving the office earlier, making time for long walks in the park and quiet evenings curled up with a good book. She even started volunteering at a local animal shelter on weekends, something she had always wanted to do but never found time for. As spring turned to summer, Aubrey found herself visiting her grandmother's old neighborhood more and more frequently. She told herself it was to check on the house and sort through her grandmother's belongings. But if she was being honest, a big part of the draw was getting to see Joseph. They fell into an easy routine of sharing coffee on Joseph's back porch, talking for hours as the sun set. Aubrey found herself opening up to him in a way she never had with anyone before. She told him about the pressure she felt to succeed, her fears of disappointing her parents, her secret dream of quitting law to open a bakery. Joseph listened without judgment, offering gentle encouragement and support. He shared his own struggles and insecurities, like his fear that he wasn't making enough of a difference as a teacher. Together, they helped each other gain new perspectives and find renewed purpose. As summer progressed, Aubrey couldn't deny the growing attraction between them. Joseph's warm brown eyes made her heart flutter, and she found herself imagining what it would be like to kiss him. But she hesitated to act on her feelings. The timing felt wrong somehow, like it was too soon after her grandmother's passing, and she worried about complicating the warm friendship they had developed. Joseph seemed to sense her hesitation and respected it, never pushing for more than she was ready to give. But Aubrey could see the longing in his eyes when he looked at her, mirroring her own desires. The tension between them grew with each passing day. Everything changed one warm August evening. Aubrey had come over to help Joseph repaint his living room. They had spent the afternoon laughing and joking as they worked, flecks of pale blue paint dotting their clothes and skin. As the sun began to set, they stood back to admire their handiwork. "It looks great," Aubrey said, smiling up at Joseph. "Your grandmother would approve." "She would," Joseph agreed softly. He turned to face Aubrey, his expression suddenly serious. "Aubrey, there's something I need to tell you." Aubrey's heart began to race. "What is it?" Joseph took a deep breath. "I've been offered a teaching position at a prestigious private school in London." Aubrey felt like she had been punched in the gut. "Oh," she managed to say. "That's wonderful. Congratulations." "Thank you," Joseph said. "It's an amazing opportunity, but..." He hesitated, running a hand through his hair. "I'm not sure if I should take it." "Why not?" Aubrey asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "It sounds perfect for you." Joseph gazed at her intently. "Because of you, Aubrey. I don't want to leave you." Time seemed to stand still as they stared at each other. Then, as if drawn by an invisible force, they came together in a passionate kiss. All the pent-up longing and desire of the past months poured out as they clung to each other desperately. When they finally broke apart, both breathing heavily, Aubrey's mind was reeling. "Joseph, I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Joseph murmured, stroking her cheek. "I just needed you to know how I feel before I make any decisions." Aubrey stepped back, needing space to think clearly. "This is all happening so fast. I need some time to process everything." Joseph nodded, understanding in his eyes. "Of course. Take all the time you need. I don't have to give them an answer for another week." Aubrey left shortly after, her emotions in turmoil. She spent the next few days in a daze, unable to focus on work or anything else. Her mind kept replaying that kiss over and over. She knew she had feelings for Joseph, strong feelings. But was she ready for a serious relationship? And could she ask him to give up such an incredible opportunity for her? As the deadline for Joseph's decision approached, Aubrey knew she had to make a choice. She thought about all the ways Joseph had enriched her life over the past few months. How he had helped her find balance and rediscover her passions. How he made her laugh and challenged her to be a better person. She realized that she didn't want to lose him, but she also knew she couldn't ask him to stay. Joseph deserved to pursue his dreams, even if that meant saying goodbye. With a heavy heart, Aubrey went to see Joseph the night before he had to give his answer. They sat on his back porch, the air thick with unspoken words. Finally, Aubrey broke the silence. "You should take the job, Joseph." He looked at her in surprise. "Are you sure? I thought maybe..." Aubrey shook her head, fighting back tears. "It's an incredible opportunity. I can't ask you to give that up for me. We've only known each other a few months. It wouldn't be fair." Joseph was quiet for a long moment. Then he said softly, "What if I want to give it up? What if I think what we have is worth more than any job?" Aubrey's heart soared at his words, even as she tried to be practical. "Joseph, you can't make a decision like this based on a summer romance. You might regret it later." "I disagree," Joseph said firmly. "Aubrey, meeting you has changed my life. You've helped me rediscover my passion for teaching. You've shown me what it means to truly connect with someone. I don't need to go to London to find fulfillment. Everything I want is right here." Tears spilled down Aubrey's cheeks. "I feel the same way," she whispered. "But I'm scared. What if we're moving too fast? What if it doesn't work out?" Joseph took her hands in his. "We can take things as slow as you need. I'm not going anywhere. We have all the time in the world to figure this out together." As Aubrey gazed into Joseph's warm brown eyes, she felt her fears melting away. She saw a future full of love, laughter, and endless possibilities. Taking a deep breath, she made her decision. "Okay," she said softly. "Let's do this. Together." Joseph's face lit up with joy. He pulled Aubrey close, kissing her tenderly. As they held each other under the starry sky, Aubrey sent a silent thank you to her grandmother. She had a feeling her grandmother had a hand in bringing Joseph into her life, giving her one final precious gift. The next year was a whirlwind of change and growth for both Aubrey and Joseph. True to his word, Joseph turned down the London job and continued teaching at the local high school. But with Aubrey's encouragement, he also started a creative writing workshop for adults in the evenings. It quickly became popular in the community, allowing Joseph to share his passion for literature with a wider audience. Aubrey made some big changes in her own life as well. She cut back her hours at the law firm, creating more time for the things that truly mattered to her. She threw herself into volunteering at the animal shelter, eventually joining their board of directors. And with Joseph's support, she finally worked up the courage to pursue her dream of opening a bakery. It wasn't easy juggling her legal career with getting the bakery off the ground. There were many late nights and stressful moments, but Joseph was there every step of the way, offering encouragement and a shoulder to lean on when things got tough. Their relationship deepened and strengthened with each passing day. They had their share of arguments and challenges, of course. Aubrey's workaholic tendencies sometimes clashed with Joseph's more laid-back nature, and they had to navigate the complexities of merging two independent lives into one shared future. But through it all, their love and commitment to each other never wavered. They learned to communicate openly and honestly, to compromise, and to always make time for each other, no matter how busy life got. As their one-year anniversary approached, Joseph surprised Aubrey with a weekend getaway to the beach. It was the same shore where Aubrey had spent summers with her grandmother as a child. As they walked along the sand at sunset, hands intertwined, Aubrey felt a profound sense of peace and rightness. "I have something for you," Joseph said, reaching into his pocket. He pulled out a small velvet box, and Aubrey's breath caught in her throat. Dropping to one knee in the sand, Joseph opened the box to reveal a beautiful vintage ring. "Aubrey, this past year with you has been the happiest of my life. You challenge me, inspire me, and make me want to be a better man every single day. I can't imagine my life without you in it." His voice thick with emotion, he asked, "Will you marry me?" Tears of joy streaming down her face, Aubrey nodded emphatically. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." Joseph slipped the ring onto her finger with trembling hands. As he stood, Aubrey threw her arms around him, kissing him passionately. They clung to each other as the waves lapped at their feet, lost in their own private world of love and happiness. Later that evening, as they celebrated with champagne in their cozy beach cottage, Aubrey examined her ring more closely. She gasped as she recognized it. It had belonged to her grandmother. "How did you get this?" she asked Joseph in amazement. He smiled sheepishly. "I hope you don't mind, but I asked your parents for their blessing. When I told them I wanted to propose, your mom gave me this ring. She said your grandmother always wanted you to have it when you found the right person." Fresh tears sprang to Aubrey's eyes. She felt her grandmother's presence surrounding them, blessing their union. "It's perfect," she whispered. "Thank you." As they began planning their wedding, Aubrey and Joseph decided they wanted to honor both their pasts and their future together. They chose to hold the ceremony in Joseph's backyard, the place where their love had first blossomed. Aubrey walked down the aisle carrying a bouquet that included her grandmother's favorite flowers, and they wrote their own vows, promising to always support each other's dreams and to face life's challenges as a team. The day was filled with joy, laughter, and love. As they danced under the stars, surrounded by their closest friends and family, Aubrey and Joseph knew they had found something truly special in each other. They had built a love that was strong, deep, and enduring. A love that would carry them through whatever life had in store. In the years that followed, Aubrey and Joseph faced their share of ups and downs. Aubrey's bakery flourished, but the demands of running her own business while maintaining her legal career sometimes left her stressed and overwhelmed. Joseph struggled with self-doubt when several of his students failed to graduate, questioning whether he was truly making a difference as a teacher. But through it all, they leaned on each other for support and encouragement. They celebrated each other's successes and comforted each other during difficult times. Their love deepened and matured, growing stronger with each passing year. 5 years into their marriage, they welcomed their first child, a daughter they named Rose, after Aubrey's grandmother. Parenthood brought new joys and challenges, testing their relationship in ways they never expected. Sleepless nights and the constant demands of a newborn sometimes left them snapping at each other in frustration. But they always found their way back to each other, remembering the strong foundation of love and respect they had built. They made a point to carve out time for date nights and intimate conversations, keeping their connection strong even as their family grew. As Rose got older, Aubrey and Joseph delighted in sharing their passions with her. Joseph read her bedtime stories every night, nurturing a love of literature from an early age. Aubrey taught her how to bake, filling the house with the warm scent of cookies and laughter. They also made sure to keep pursuing their own dreams and supporting each other's growth. Joseph finally wrote the novel he had always talked about, with Aubrey cheering him on every step of the way. Aubrey expanded her bakery to a second location, relying on Joseph's steady presence at home to make it possible. Through all of life's twists and turns, Aubrey and Joseph remained each other's rock and safe harbor. They faced every challenge as a team, drawing strength from their unwavering love and commitment. As they celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary, Aubrey and Joseph took a moment to reflect on their journey together. Sitting on the back porch where they had shared so many important moments, they marveled at how far they had come. "I can't believe it's been 10 years, Aubrey said, leaning her head on Joseph's shoulder. "Sometimes it feels like just yesterday we met at my grandmother's funeral." Joseph kissed the top of her head. "And sometimes it feels like I've loved you for a lifetime. I can't imagine my life without you in it." Aubrey smiled, intertwining her fingers with his. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you had taken that job in London?" Joseph was quiet for a moment, considering. "I used to in the early days, but now I know without a doubt that I made the right choice. Everything I've ever wanted or needed is right here." Aubrey's heart swelled with love. "I feel the same way. You and Rose are my whole world." As the sun set on another beautiful day, Aubrey and Joseph held each other close, grateful for the love they had found and nurtured over the past decade. They knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together, just as they always had. Their love story, born from grief and blossoming into something beautiful and enduring, was a testament to the power of opening one's heart to unexpected possibilities. Aubrey and Joseph had found in each other not just a partner, but a true soulmate, someone who challenged them to grow, supported their dreams, and loved them unconditionally. As they looked forward to the next chapter of their lives together, Aubrey and Joseph knew that their love would only continue to deepen and strengthen with each passing year. They had built a foundation of trust, respect, and unwavering commitment that would carry them through whatever joys and challenges lay ahead. And somewhere, Aubrey's grandmother was surely smiling down on them, proud of the beautiful life and love they had created together.